welcome to TUTV. I'm Aristotle Orsini, and did you know I'm in that intro segment at least twice?
Really? I'm pretty sure I'm only in there once. But then again, I never learned to count past one. Let's talk about the weather, shall we? It was 82 degrees yesterday. That's a record for February 3rd. How do you feel about that?
Not great, Hunter. I worry about the state of our planet when yesterday a high of 82, today I'm freezing outside. I'm freezing.
Yeah, and I worry about my ability to wear pants for more than 1 month out of the year. I mean, come on, guys. I can't show these calves all the time. I'll get charged with a crime. And Aristotle, I think you feel the same way, don't you?
I do, yeah. These are a commodity. Supply, demand, they need to be level for my calves.
And my demand is awfully high for these pants. Let's talk about being sick, because it feels like everyone just got the flu. What do you think's up with that?
It's a combination of weather, coming back to school. Someone on Yik Yak suggested it's that professors are taking attendance, so people are actually showing up to class and getting people sick. My roommate just got over COVID, so...
Really? Well, I hope I can get over this segment without dying of a cough. We'll see you at the end of the show.
Oh, God dang it.
Aristotle, come on!
Sawadika TUTV, this is Roma Carter, and I'm currently studying abroad in Thailand, so come along with me. So we start this journey on the flight to Paris initially. Of course, I'm watching Harry Potter. I mean, why wouldn't I be? And then I got lost in the Paris airport because I got free accommodation for the night because I had a bad delay. And so this is me on my way to find the hotel that took me 4 hours to find, but we found it. And it was New Year's Eve, so I ventured into the city to see nobody there. You know, I went to a local pub and there was absolutely nobody there, so it got a little spooky after walking around for 40 minutes. So I finally got my Uber back home to my hotel, and about 10 hours later, got on a flight to Bangkok. This was the smoother flight I've had. This is me on my journey. And then I arrived in Bangkok about 12 hours later, and this is my first impression. I later found out that Leo is a beer brand. And of course, I walk around campus first day I get there, and I got lost. I got so lost, but I'm more acclimated to the campus now, thankfully. I will definitely show you guys that. And then we had orientation, learned some meanings of the heart. Nampen Rai means it'll all work out. I really like that saying. And then we went on a little scavenger hunt after orientation, saw some buildings side of campus. It was so beautiful. And later that night, we had dinner with everybody in our uniforms, and I met some really cool people, had some really good Thai food, and yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one.
Starting off with our 7-day forecast, today, Tuesday, will be coming to a close with a high of 45 degrees. Scattered showers and overcast skies will continue throughout this evening with a low of 37 degrees. The scattered drizzle we've been seeing all day will continue throughout the night and into Wednesday morning, ending hopefully around 9 a.m. Breaking clouds will help warm things up slightly with a high of 59 degrees. The rest of the week will follow roughly the same pattern, plentiful sunlight and highs in the upper 50s to mid-60s. Warm weather should hold throughout Saturday, but will break around Sunday morning. Expect things to cool off around 9 a.m. into the low 40s. That'll continue through Monday and into the start of next week. Moving now to our severe weather outlooks, we have a marginal risk issued for tomorrow the 5th. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted a band of severe weather potential across most of the highlighted area. That's going to cover most of the Ohio River Valley here. This is primarily driven by a 2% tornado risk, so chances are low but non-zero. We have chances of discrete storm mode developing across that whole area, which will provoke supercell development. Looking it over at our upper level wind maps now, this is going to be fairly zonal flow across the continental U.S. at the 500 millibar level, with slight northward flow developing along the west coast. That's going to be feeding that atmospheric river we've been seeing throughout most of the week in the Pacific Northwest. This higher energy section of the jet stream in the west will be sweeping slowly across the U.S., hopefully bringing warmer air up into the Tulsa area, but also contributing to those storms we've been seeing off to the east. This pattern of strong easterly flow will continue throughout the remainder of this week, ending sometime around this weekend. Jumping ahead now to next Tuesday, a week from today, we see the GFS model here showing a slight trough developing over New Mexico. This low-pressure system will be pushing east across Oklahoma, probably midday next Wednesday. The cooler temperatures that will be present next week will likely inhibit any sort of severe storm potential, but there is a decent chance of precipitation forming with that event. I'm Carter Reed, and this has been your weather.
That caught me off. Hello and welcome to The Desk. I'm Bruce Bigler.
And as always, I'm Anderson Bell.
We're going to be bringing you some of the most exciting news stories going on in America and around the world.
Yeah, let's get right to it.
January 20th marked the second time in U.S. history that a president began a second non-consecutive term in the White House as Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. Despite an exclusive inauguration held indoors, the event drew thousands of MAGA faithful to the nation's capital. Festivities included prestigious parties such as the Turning Point Inaugural Eve Ball, as well as the Hispanic Ball and the Crypto Ball. With all the glitz and glam that we've come to accept from Trump and his constituents, it's no surprise that Trump was surrounded by America's wealthiest people during his swearing-in, including his close collaborator, Elon Musk, and billionaire Jeff Bezos. The inauguration capped a 4-year political turnaround for Trump, who avoided severe punishment despite facing convictions for crimes committed before and during his presidency. Trump began fulfilling campaign promises on day one, which included strict immigration policy, trade tariffs, and American security.
President Trump's cabinet appointees, seen as critical to his plan to reshape the country, have thus far seen success in their confirmation hearings. Alongside confirmations of EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, other appointees such as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem saw more controversial hearings and scrutiny from both sides of the aisle. Both Hegseth and Noem have faced intense scrutiny in the past for actions that were on display, including a sexual assault lawsuit that Hegseth faced in 2017. Trump's pick to lead our nation's military also faced criticism for comments made in his book American Crusade, where he promised to, quote-unquote, destroy socialism, feminism, and leftism. After her confirmation, Noem's Department of Homeland Security has begun mass deportation efforts in major cities. Last week, the Trump administration revoked Biden-era protections for a near 600,000 Venezuelans, opening them to the threat of deportation. When asked about deportation initiatives, Noem told Fox News, "We've just gotten started."
On January 15th, Israel and the Palestinian group Hamas agreed on a ceasefire, pausing the armed conflict in the Gaza Strip that has raged since October 2023. The ceasefire deal was drafted in May by the United States, Egypt, and Qatar, and accepted by Hamas the same month. If the deal holds, Hamas will release all Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinians detained by Israel, followed by a permanent ceasefire in Gaza and Israeli withdrawal from the region. The ceasefire will see a possible resolution of a war that has seen more than 40,000 deaths and accusations of genocidal activity by the Israeli government and military. For Israel and Gaza, the ceasefire can be seen as a moment of hope as guns fall silent on all sides, as reconstruction efforts will be a mighty task.
In the first 2 weeks of his second term, Donald Trump has wasted no time implementing campaign promises. Some major moves from the Trump administration include a national emergency on the U.S.-Mexico border that saw a military deployment. Trump also signed his first bill into law, known as the Laken-Riley Act. This bill requires that undocumented immigrants be detained by Immigration and Customs if they are arrested or charged with a crime, which has led to approximately 800 arrests. Former Director of ICE Tom Homan requested 100,000 beds for ICE detainees awaiting deportation. The Trump administration continues to implement restrictions on sex and gender by altering government services, which include replacing the word gender with the word sex on government websites. Trump's comments on Inauguration Day that there are only two genders, male and female, have caused many concerns across the LGBTQ community. And that's the news for today. Lots of stuff going on. We'll keep you informed whenever more stuff does happen.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
2 weeks ago, TU was able to take 38 students to Washington, D.C. to see the presidential inauguration, and I was one of them. Welcome to Aristotle on Air, where I walk you through the highlights of whatever sort of interesting thing I did recently. Stick around until the end to find out what member of Donald Trump's former posse I shook hands and got a photo with. We started our trip at 5:30 in the morning at the Tulsa airport. While going through security, I got patted down very aggressively. From there, we flew to Chicago and then to D.C. During our brief layover in Chicago, it was announced that Trump had made the decision to move his inauguration indoors, meaning we would no longer be able to attend in person. The first item on our D.C. itinerary was to go to the National Mall to see the Washington Monument and Lincoln Memorial. The highlight here was absolutely getting to lick the Washington Monument. I won $2 and also got to taste freedom. It tasted like dirt. The next day, we were up bright and early to go to the American Indian Museum. I'm not a big museum guy, but it was pretty cool. Then I went with some other people on the trip to the People's March, a giant demonstration around many different causes I care about. It was very cool, and then we ate Ethiopian food, which I'd never tried before. Sunday morning, we were once again out to see a museum, this time the Holocaust Museum. I had been to D.C. once before when I was a kid, and I remember going to the Holocaust Museum and being absolutely horrified. As it turns out, one time is enough for a lifetime, and as important as informative as the exhibits are, I did not enjoy my time there. After lunch, we were on a guided tour of the African American History Museum, which is one of the most recent additions to the Smithsonian catalog. It was a very interesting tour that even talked about Tulsa and the race massacre of 1921. After that, it started snowing, so a few of us went back to the National Mall to see the Capitol in the snow. It was quite beautiful. Then we went to Chinatown, which might have been a mistake because a couple blocks away there was a Trump rally and roads and metro stations had been blocked off because of it and the upcoming inauguration the next day. We were able to make it to a nice restaurant, but we had to take the metro a couple blocks past Chinatown and then walk back. When we left the restaurant, it looked like Gotham, with the streets being thoroughly barricaded by National Guard and the sidewalks inaccessible. We managed to make our way back to the station we got off at, but in the time we had been eating, it had closed down too. We were standing there unsure of what to do when two random men yelled, "This way!" and started running. Naturally, we started following them. We caught up to them and they said this was the way to the next closest station. I was always taught stranger danger, but they seemed chill enough. We walked with them to the next station and then were able to make it back to the hotel. Then, the highlight of the trip happened. At 10 p.m., as I was winding down in my bed in my pajamas, one of the other students on the trip messaged the group chat and said that Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York, former associate attorney general, and current disbarred, disheveled disgrace who lost a $143 million defamation suit in 2023 and attempted to file for bankruptcy, was in the lobby of our hotel. Without a second thought, I jumped out of bed and sprinted faster than I've ever moved in my entire life to the nearest elevator and rode it down. I was wearing pajama pants, a giant t-shirt, and was barefoot, but I was determined to get a photo with Rudolph William Louis Giuliani. I made it downstairs, but by then he was eating at the hotel restaurant. I decided to take my time and wait for him to be done eating, so I went upstairs, got properly dressed for the occasion, and returned to stake him out with my roommates, who also wanted a photo. After nearly an hour and a half, I had my chance to strike as he was heading for the elevators. I walked unassumingly behind them and smiled at his security before returning to my phone and doing a fake double take as I seemingly realized I was in the presence of America's mayor. I then stopped him and asked for a photo, and history was made. We all returned to our room with a new sense of joy and proceeded to send our photos to every person we could think of, including Brad Carson, who responded with an enthusiastic, "Wow!" I saw an opportunity flash before my eyes as I asked President Carson to get me in to meet Obama, insisting that I know he has pull with Barack. He laughed it off, joking of another possible trip, but I told him to keep me updated. I think he got the message. Monday morning, Inauguration Day. I laid in my bed until about 11 and turned on the TV to watch the inauguration. Several people gathered in my room and we watched it together, laughing at how old and ridiculous some of the people in the Capitol looked. But Donald J. Trump is now the 47th President of the United States.
So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Moving right along from that, it's time to go to Arlington Cemetery. Not the cheeriest place on earth, but better than what was going on in my hotel room. We took the Blue Line straight there and then visited JFK's grave and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. We then returned to the hotel and I warmed up watching some YouTube because it was freezing outside. Maybe not cold enough to move the inauguration inside, but certainly very cold.
It was around that time that I realized I hadn't eaten anything the whole day, so Sophie and I took a brief walk from the hotel to get some shawarma, and it was amazing. I didn't record any part of this because it was too cold to hold my phone out and record, but you'll just have to believe me. I woke up in the morning and went downstairs to eat donuts and listen to a guest speaker, Monty Hawkins, who was a TU alum who has worked for the last 4 presidential administrations. I went up to my room and we all packed and got ready to leave, and then I went and got another chicken shawarma wrap because the one last night was that good and I was hungry. I chilled in the lobby and wrote the script for this video. Whoa, that's the script! Also, I've been forgetting to film things, so I apologize if any of the B-roll has been irrelevant. We went down to the metro station and boarded our final train of the trip to get to the airport. After going through security, I got patted down again, and then we sat in our gate waiting for the plane. 1 4-hour plane ride later, we arrived in Denver for a 2-hour layover. I went and got an extremely greasy, overpriced burger with absolutely no sauce on it, and the ketchup bottle on my table was empty. 2 stars. I got to our gate with only a bit of time before our flight. The only thing standing in between me and getting back in Tulsa was a brisk 1-hour flight, but that's where everything went wrong. Just kidding, the flight was fine, and the guy next to me was watching Seinfeld clips on Facebook Reels.
The desk. I'm Bruce Bigler.
And I'm Michael Tran. We have some great stories to get into, so let's get in. The Association of Black Collegians at the University of Tulsa is commemorating Black History Month with a multitude of themed events and activities throughout February. On Monday, ABC brought back D9 Trivia, which saw attendees enjoy music and trivia questions. It was a night spent learning about the 9 historically Black sororities and fraternities, also known as the Divine Nine, with the added bonus prizes to participants. If you missed it, no worries. The organization is hosting a Family Feud game night on Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Alcove. Other events ABC has planned include the Black Education and Experience Fair on February 12th, as well as an open mic night on February 20th hosted in Chapman. The month's events will be capped off with a soul food soiree in the Pat Case Dining Center on the 25th. To keep up with all ABC events this semester, follow at Tulsa ABC on Instagram.
TU's Student Government Association held its annual Spring Activities Fair on Wednesday. Students representing everything from Greek life to arts and sciences-centered clubs spent time in the Great Hall of the Student Union, spreading the word of the multitudes of diverse clubs TU has to offer. While not as popular as the Fall Activity Fair, SGA saw a great crowd for the beginning of the 2025 semester, with over 50 clubs in attendance. Be sure to stay tuned for upcoming interviews with many of these clubs exclusively on TUTV. The activity fair occurs once a semester, so if you missed out, don't worry. The daily TU Today email and UTulsa events calendar have all the up-to-date information for student organization meetings.
The 67th Annual Grammys Award was held on Sunday and hosted in Los Angeles by Trevor Noah, the comedian's 5th year as host of the prestigious music award show. The night began with a tribute performance to LA, which suffered through wildfires for much of January. Some of the biggest headlines from the night include Sabrina Carpenter winning her first ever Grammys for her song Espresso. Sabrina Carpenter took home the award for Best Pop Solo Performance. Carpenter was not the only first-time Grammy winner, as Charli XCX also became a first-time Grammy winner for her song Von Dutch. After 6 studio albums and a previous 8 nominations, the artist brings home the award for Best Dance Pop Recording. For the 5th year, Beyoncé was nominated for Album of the Year, this time winning for Cowboy Carter. The 32-time Grammy winner Beyoncé had claimed her first ever win for Album of the Year, as she continues to rake in awards throughout her lengthy and successful career.
That's all for entertainment today. Thanks so much for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.
We're here at the Oklahoma State Capitol building where there's currently a protest going on. There's protesters, there's counter-protesters, there's state troopers blocking them off. Should be protesty. What brings you out to the Capitol?
It's a number of things. because everything that's going on is just wrong. It's the one thing I can do as a middle-class citizen is I can get out here when I have the time and just fight.
I'm a woman. I have a transgender babysitter, and I have my lovely neighbors, a lesbian couple, and I'm here to support everybody. I'm also a mom, for choice by choice.
There's a deportation issues. They're targeting our rights. I'm just here for the people that couldn't make it, for the people that don't have a voice. I have one, might as well put it to use.
Resist the oncoming tide of fascism.
People shouldn't be dehumanized for things that aren't their fault. Everyone should have rights. Everyone deserves rights. Everyone deserves the right to live comfortably and happily.
Honestly, I immigrant myself, so I'm here for every immigrant that can be today.
And even the White House press releases that are happening, it's very reminiscent of 1930s.
Hello, can we interview you and your dog? Who are we here with today?
This is Emerald.
Hi, Emerald. Aww. What brought you out to the Capitol?
Just trying to fight injustice. We really want to make a difference, and even if it's just one protest, we're still going to be doing something today.
Ryan Walters has said that he wants to do everything in his power to help Oklahoma students. Do you think he's doing that?
They do not give a shit about any of these kids.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We are here to make our opinions known and to just promote a better living for everybody, equal living for everybody, equal rights for people of color, people of the LGBT community, people that are oppressed, such as immigrants, people that have disabilities, everybody in here, people of every background and color, right? It is not an attack to, force our way into anything. It's just we want a chance like everybody else, and in this current scenario, it's not happening.
I believe that every single human on earth is worthy, and they deserve basic human rights. And whenever they're stripped, we can't do anything but protest at this point.
We're going to head over to the counter-protesters. There's only a couple of them, but in the interest of journalistic integrity, we're going to hear from everybody here. Who am I here with today?
Jim Gillis.
And
my name's Tracy.
Jim, Tracy, why are you out here today?
We are out here to preach the gospel and to stand against the radicals who are for illegal immigration.
Just to stand for truth.
Who am I here with today?
Pastor David Grisham, Efficient Street Preachers.
Okay. Pastor, what brought you out here today?
We're out here to, our God is the God of law and order.
But this is not my God.
Over there?
That's not my God.
No.
That's not my God.
Understood.
Christ is not about any of this. He's just, if you can't do the first thing that he walked the earth and taught, forgiveness, you don't belong. I mean, there's only one side to be on. It's Christ's side, and he stands for love. It's what he taught us. It's why we're here, and it's wrapped up and it's coming to an end soon, people. They better get it right.
And this protest is in support of lawlessness and chaos. They're out here defending illegal aliens that come across the border because it's damaging our country. It's causing the crime rate to go up.
So are you brought out here by recent actions of the Trump administration or just boiling tension?
Probably a little bit of both. It's always been an ongoing issue, but I think that it's exacerbated by the executive orders and the things that have been put in place since his presidency.
We are nothing without each other, and this isn't the government or the America that any of us signed up for.
What are your thoughts on Ryan Walters?
Yeah, he can go burn in hell.
Ryan Walters can do a lot better, honestly, just caring for everybody and making sure to focus on education, which is what his job is.
I think he's a heaping pile of shit.
He's a piece of shit.
I would implore them to listen to the people they love, because I promise you that you have somebody in your life and somebody that you love that is affected. And if you don't know someone who's affected, it's because you are not a safe person to come to and tell that they're affected. I promise you someone you love is being hurt right now. And if you literally just go to them and ask them, how do you feel about what's going on right now? You will know that people that you love are affected.
Good evening and welcome to the discussion panel. My name is Hunter Lynn, joined today by Aristotle Orsini, Anderson Bell, and Michael Tran. Gentlemen, we'll begin our first question today with the United States presidential election. Aristotle and Anderson, what are your general takes on this event?
Well, it was monumental in many ways. Our second time seeing a non-consecutive two-term president, a wildly controversial president, one who, our first felon, our first president to try and overthrow the results of an election. Anderson, what about you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it was a very consequential election, to say the least. It's, we all have our views on the newly elected President Trump. I sure do, and I think it's kind of a worrying statement for the state of our country, the fact that he was elected once again, but again, that's my personal view. That is yet to be seen what really happens with it.
And gentlemen, every expert in politics has opined on some aspect of President Trump or another. Let's talk about income inequality. Obviously, it is inauguration surrounded by some of America's and the world's wealthiest men. What do you think will happen when it comes to the income gap between the poor, the middle class, and the rich in the next 4 years, at least, of Trump's presidency?
Well, I think it's pretty telling that he had 4 of the world's richest men at his inauguration. They poured so much money into the event of his inauguration and into his campaign. It is very clear that he does not have the best interests of the middle or lower class in mind. You can see that in his tax cuts from his first term that targeted taxes on the wealthy and cut them drastically.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most telling things from his first administration was the fact that the only real policy accomplishment he was left with at the end of the day was this massive tax cut package passed in 2018. Aside from all the populist rhetoric he had about bringing jobs back to America, a lot of that never really happened. Under his presidency, the economy just got worse for working people, and I'm frankly worried about the state of income inequality in this country, especially with this new president.
Now to an event that occurred in the waning days of the Biden presidency, the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel in Gaza. What does this event mean for the future stability of the Middle East region as a whole?
I think it's fantastic that we're finally seeing a ceasefire after over a year of nonstop bombing in Gaza. I fear that it is only just a start, though. The Palestinian population has so much rebuilding to do. There is very little left of their former society from before October 7th, 2023, and a ceasefire does not bring it back.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say this ceasefire, in many respects, it is admirable. It's good that the fighting has finally stopped, but in a lot of ways, it's too little too late. There's almost no universities, no hospitals left in Gaza. That's absolutely devastating, and there's already talks in Israel again of annexing the Gaza Strip, annexing North Gaza, and just absolutely, I would like to be optimistic about stability in the region, but not so sure about it at this time.
And now to our entertainment correspondent, Michael Tran. Michael, of course, the Grammys happened a couple of days ago. What are your takes from that event?
I think that the Grammys are a very important event for people who are interested in pop culture and musicians alike. I think that a lot of people who did watch the Grammys were satisfied with the results, as notable figures such as Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, and Chappell Roan earned their first Grammys in their careers. I'm personally excited for Doechii having won Best Rap Album this year. She is notably the third female rapper to have ever won the award. There is some controversy, however, about Chappell Roan winning Best New Artist, as people think that because she has been an artist for so long, should she or other artists who have been making music deserve the title or not? I would argue yes, because they could still be considered new artists in the public eye. I would say another big moment about the Grammys was when Beyonce won Album of the Year, which was 25 years in the making, and she is notably the first Black woman since 1989 to have ever won the award. I would say a controversial take is, what does that mean? That's it, and those are my thoughts.
And what would you say is your favorite Grammy moment from this past year's awards?
I would say my favorite moment was probably the performances. I definitely like watching Doechii and Sabrina Carpenter's performances most out of all of them.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for your contributions today. That is all the time we have, folks. As for me, I'm Hunter Lynn.
I'm Aristotle Orsini.
I'm Anderson Bell.
I'm Michael Tran.
And we will see you next week.
Welcome to the Sports Desk. As always, I'm Anderson Bell.
And I'm Carter Reed.
A lot of stuff going on in the world of Tulsa sports today, so let's get right into it. The Tulsa men's basketball team has yet to shake off its early season struggles, accumulating a record of 5-7 in their last 12 games, now sitting 9-12 on the season. The start of conference play has been unkind to the Golden Hurricane, with the team currently sitting at 10th in the American Athletic Conference as they are 3-5 in conference play. In their most recent game against the University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers, the Golden Hurricane suffered a 10-point defeat at home at the Reynolds Center, with Tulsa's offensive difficulties showing themselves once more. The Golden Hurricane shot 28.6% from three compared to the Blazers' 40.9% efficiency from the three-point line. Other struggles included free throws, making only 6 of 14 attempts. Tulsa's leading scorer, Dwan Odom, put up 17 points, 11 points fewer than UAB's Yaxel Landenberg, who ended with 28 points, his best performance of the season. On the back of a 2-game losing streak, Tulsa will face off against the 19th-ranked Memphis Tigers on the 5th, where they take on former TU guard and freshman of the year, PJ Haggerty.
The Tulsa women's basketball team has experienced similar struggles as of late, going 6-6 in their past 12 games, bringing their overall record to 11-11. The Lady Golden Hurricane looks to improve fortunes as they come off a 46-42 win against the Wichita State Shockers on Sunday. They add another win to their conference resume, bringing them to 5-5 in conference play, and find themselves tied for 6th in the American Athletic Conference. In this matchup, TU's leading scorer, Elise Hill, shot for 20 points, with Delaney Crawford and Hadley Perriman contributing 13 and 12 points respectively, outscoring the Shockers' top scorers by 16 points. The Tulsa women will travel to face the Charlotte 49ers on Wednesday, with the 49ers facing their own struggles, showing an overall record of 7-13 on the season and just 2-7 in conference play.
After a disastrous 2024 season, which included the firing of head coach Kevin Wilson shortly before the end of the season and the hiring of East Tennessee State University coach Trey Lamb, the Golden Hurricane football team has turned its attention to the transfer portal to bolster its roster for the 2025 season, already extending offers to 60 players across the country. So far, the Golden Hurricane has landed 11 commits as of January. Key players include Tulsa native Sevian Morrison, a running back transfer from the University of Kansas, and Micah Tees, a wide receiver and defensive back at Texas A&M. Continued additions are expected to improve the Golden Hurricane's prospects on both sides of the ball. These additions are gravely needed, as Tulsa football lost 30 players to the portal after its competitive struggles in the 2024 season. Moving forward, Tulsa's coaching staff looks to continue to evaluate prospects, host visits, and sway talent from across the country to play for a young and exciting Golden Hurricane program.
The Tulsa Oilers' local minor league hockey affiliate of the Anaheim Ducks are in the midst of their 2024-25 season, which began on October 15, 2024. The Oilers have a mid-season record of 23-13, standing at 4th in the Western Division of the ECHL, ranking 3rd overall in goals with 145. On January 31st, the Oilers secured a resounding 7-3 victory against the Wichita Thunder, adding to their Mountain Conference resume as the season progresses. Michael Farin has led the team in scoring, totaling 31 points across the last 37 games, with Easton Brodzinski following closely behind with 30 total points. Both have emerged as key contributors to the Oilers' continued success. The Oilers look to add to this record on Thursday against the Utah Grizzlies, who have struggled throughout the season, sitting at 14th in the Western Conference with an abysmal 13-22 overall record.
So, a lot of exciting stuff going on in the world of Tulsa sports. It's not all doom and gloom like it has been in previous times we've recorded this show. I'm really excited personally about some of the prospects and recruits were landing in the transfer portal. Do you have anything to say about that?
No, absolutely. I think there's some exciting things coming in the future, and I think they're much needed changes. I'm looking forward to see Mekhi Miller play from the Zoo.
From the Zoo, yeah, absolutely. The future looks bright. We've got an exciting team. Who knows? Maybe we'll make a bowl game this year.
Fingers crossed, right?
Fingers crossed. And I think that's about all we have for today. So a lot of exciting stuff going on in the world of Tulsa sports. And until next time, I'm Anderson Bell.
And I'm Carter Reed.
What, is this like the 9th time you've had Chick-fil-A this week? Yeah, dude, there's nothing else to eat around here.
Hey, did you know that one of the fraternities is in trouble right now for illegal wildlife smuggling?
Wait, what? I find that very hard to believe.
Yep, they're in possession of 16 infant tiger cubs right now. Can you believe it?
Are you a reliable source? What are your credentials?
Hey, did you know there was a student spotted howling at the moon last night and scratching uncontrollably?
You mean like a werewolf?
Possibly.
Well, maybe you saw it out of context.
Hey, do you want to hear something super embarrassing and private about somebody you know? They're mentioned by name. Hey, did you know that Bad Case actually uses live eels as one of its main ingredients?
Can you please get out of my room? Goldie, we have a big problem. What is it, Rad? The campus has been overrun by trouble-causing, rumor-spreading, loud-mouthing, attention-seeking yaks. Whoa, no!
Hey, did you know that Brad Carson grew a beard just for attention?
See, that's what I mean. They are actively causing chaos around campus and turning students against one another. The herd grows larger every day, so we're going to have to stop it. Fast.
Don't worry, Brad. I know what we need to do. We'll solve this problem.
My fellow yaks, together we can take down this university, and together we will eat all of the grass that we want. No one will be able to stop us, not even the mighty lawnmower bots who have stolen our grass for years. We are united under one species to bring chaos and destruction, using our advanced yakking skills to spread misinformation to all who oppose us.
Stop right there, you pack of yaks.
Brad Carson, what could you possibly do to stop us?
Well, that's easy. With my executive powers as president of the University of Tulsa, I could just ban the herd from campus entirely.
Wait, what did you say?
Whoops, I guess I forgot one.
Mark my words, Brad Carson. The yaks will be back.
Oh, look, I think I finally figured it out.
We'll just simply move to another platform.
Well, I'm glad that's over.
And welcome back to the hosts table, folks. Aristotle, you might have noticed there's a lot of construction in and around Kendall Hall these days. I've heard from local sources that after January 20th, it's being renamed to the Eric Trump Secret Police Academy. What do you think about that?
I think that is fantastic, Hunter. I am so excited to learn how to be a secret police from a man who is certainly one of Donald Trump's children.
As far as we know.
As far as we know, yeah. I think what better name could we have chosen than the Eric Trump Secret Police Academy?
Exactly.
To really encapsulate this building in particular.
And what a good niche to be filled, right? Because, I mean, who else besides Eric Trump's secret police force is going to assist in the rounding up and deportation of children of illegal immigrant parents from Oklahoma public schools, something that is going on as we speak?
Probably Immigrations and Customs Enforcement.
Yeah, you would think. If only I knew how they worked. It seems they don't most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the Eric Trump Secret Police Academy is a fantastic stepping stone towards more of a police state. And that's what we need in America. As we all know, crime is happening.
Crime is happening, and people that I'm told not to like are the only ones responsible for it, as far as I can tell.
Yep.
So obviously we should remove them from the country is the only logical and least economically costly option that I see there.
I certainly can't imagine anything else.
Thank goodness a geriatric pushing octogenarian man is telling me all of these important facts and data. I'm sure he is a trustworthy source on matters of definite national importance. What do you think?
I'm actually hearing in my non-existent earpiece that Chapman Hall is being renamed to the Don Jr. Secret Cocaine Academy.
Really?
Yes.
Don Jr. I thought Donald Trump would have forgotten his name by now.
No.
That's why he named him after himself. He couldn't have kept track otherwise.
And Sharp Chapel is going to become Barron Chapel. Yeah, it's true, folks. He's as tall as the building.
That is true. And he also is Slovenian for some reason. Does Tiffany get a building?
No.
That would check out.
Yeah.
That would check out.
And then the rest of the buildings go to Jared Kushner.
That would make sense, because obviously he's married to Ivanka.
Yeah.
And women can't hold property.
Precisely.
Come back and fact check me on that in 5 years. See just how wrong I am, America. But hey, this is the decision you made. So when I knock at your door as a newly minted Eric Trump secret policeman in 2026, be ready. What do you say, Aristotle?
I say I'll be ready.
No, you won't. I'll keep you. That's why it's a secret.
That's all we have for this week, folks. Tune in next week to find out if strawberries are actually evil and invading your home.
That sounds right to me.